So I'm out here today, gonna take a ride on this Enduro A9 E bike I got from Electric on Wheels. It's a really nice day today, and there's a lot of, it's a little windy, but I just want to take it for a ride. I've been wanting to ride this bike for a long time, and it's been really bad weather out. It's been so crazy, like so cold. And so one thing I did notice is the speedo is a little bit off. So it's like almost 10 miles off. I need to figure out, what's going on with it. I think I changed a setting in it the other day when I was messing around, because this controller, man, you could really change it up to do different things. And I was playing around with it, trying to make it kind of safe for, a person that wanted to ride it the other day. And they never rode a bike this fast, so I wanted to make sure that they were safe. And it's a friend of mine, or else I probably wouldn't have let them ride it, because I don't want to get sued later because they hurt themselves or something like that with this bike, because it's pretty fast. But so I set it up, and it was pretty safe for them. It didn't go very fast or anything like that. So I figured out the settings, how to set it, and now I set it back up. But I think I did something to the speedo, so I got to figure that out. But I mean, it still reads, but it is reading like about 10 miles difference than what it really is. But I'm just gonna go on some trails today, and I'm gonna show you guys a little bit about the hill climb ability of this bike. It's crazy. Like, this bike can just handle any hill. Like, it's unbelievable what this bike can do, man. It's crazy. How you doing? It'll go up anything, And that motor that it's got, that 8,000 hub motor, man, that thing is just so powerful that, man, it eats up the road, it eats up the hills, it eats up everything, man. It's just so cool. And it stays fairly cool, because yesterday I went on a good ride yesterday. I went like 45 miles, and I got home, checked the motor, and the motor was not hot or anything like that, which is pretty cool. I've been kind of checking that as I drive it, just to make sure that the motor don't overheat or anything like that. And so far it's been pretty awesome, man. So, but yeah, I plan to do a lot of like ride-alongs with this bike, and because it's such a fun bike to ride, and it's so easy to go places around town on this bike. You know what I mean? It's like you can get on the trails and kind of take some shortcuts, like when you're going somewhere, and stay off the traffic. And then the good thing about this bike, though, if you need to get on traffic for some reason, right on the street or whatever, this bike it'll handle like any speeds around town for sure. You know what I mean? I mean, hell, even on the highway, the highway's what, 65 speed limit, 75 on some places. But I do know I can get up to, how you doing, sir? I can get up to about 60 miles an hour on this bike myself without any problems. On your left, sir. And which I think is pretty cool. So 60 miles an hour, if I had to get on the freeway for a second and then get off, this bike can do that. I'm not recommending you do that, I'm just saying if you had to for some reason, you could do it. How you doing? Nice puppies. And but yeah, anyway, I love this bike, man. It's so cool. It's a different experience, man, for sure, from all other e-bikes that I've ridden. This thing just, man, when you want it to go, it just goes, and it feels like a Tesla. If you ever ridden in a Tesla, it's a different experience than in an automobile too, right? Because in an automobile, you hear the engine run, and you kind of get that experience with the engine and making the noise, and the faster you go, the louder it goes. Well, with this thing, the faster you go, there's no noise with it. So it's just a weird feeling, because it feels like like I'm saying, like you're on a Tesla where it just, man, it just goes. It's so quick, so fast. This motor's got so much torque on it, and it gets to top speed like fairly quickly. Like, I mean, you gun it, and then next thing you know, you look down at the speedometer, man, and you're doing 40, 50 miles an hour like that quick. And it's crazy, man. It's so fun. And so the reason why I got this bike, you know, was I was looking for a Sur-Ron because, you know, there's a bunch of guys that ride the Sur-Rons and stuff, and, you know, we get together and stuff like that. And if I'm on my regular e-bikes, you know, they just leave me behind. And then, you know, if I'm riding with them and I'm part of the group or whatever, they gotta wait for me somewhere, you know, and it just sucks, right? So I was looking at the Sur-Rons, and my buddy had a Sur-Ron, and, you know, I sat on it, you know, and right away when I sat on it, man, I bottomed down that shock. And the way the bike was designed, it's just a small bike, so I like bottomed it down. And then when I started to ride it, it was making all kinds of noises, like you know, and the Sur-Rons are pretty noisy as it is anyway. They're like, they got a lot of chain noise, and they just got a lot of noise in general. And even if you're a light rider, that bike just makes so much noise. And but when I got on it, it felt like, man, it was saying, hey, I need some help here. So, and then I started looking at it, and, you know, the weight limit for that bike is like 220 pounds. And, you know, I'm 260. So in order for me to even get that bike to handle my weight, you know, I would have to dump in another $4,000 just to get it to handle my weight. And that's not without upgrading the suspension and all that kind of stuff, which I think the front suspension would be fine, and the rear suspension would probably just be replacing the spring on it and giving it like a 750 pound spring like this one has, and then it'd probably be okay. It'd still be kind of tiny for me, so then I'd have to buy the riser seat and all that kind of stuff. And so all in all, you know, I'd be spending, you know, pretty close to $4,000 just to be able to ride that thing. And, you know, the bike already costs like $5,000 if you buy it anywhere, really. I mean, they've gone up in price, and I think they're like $4,500, but by the time you pay taxes and all that kind of stuff, it's $5,000. You know, and then you order the Qi battery to get it up to 72 volts, and then you got to order the controller, whether you go with the BAC or the I think it's a Fairchild, or there's all kinds of different controllers out there now that you can upgrade the Sur-Ron with. But even then, man, that's what, $1,400 or something like that. So, you know, that's $4,000, man, just to ride it for me. Where this bike, you know, $3,500 and it's ready to go with it's already 72 volts. It's got a 40 amp hour battery. You know, it's got a Sabaton controller, and the Sabaton controller has been out for a while, and there's a lot of support for it. And just like with anything, when products are out there, you get people that do all kinds of programming to it and stuff. So that one, you know, there's a lot of groups that are developed for that. So if you start, you know, reconfiguring it to do different things, you know, there's always support for it. I don't plan on doing anything to this bike because it's right out of the box, man. It's perfect. Like, I don't need it to go any faster than it goes. You know, it goes just as fast as me, man. You know, I'm not I used to be a daredevil where I used to go so fast and you know, jump and do wheelies and all that kind of stuff. But now that, you know, next year I'm fixing to be half a century old, man. So just think about that, half a century. You know, who would have ever thought, you know, you'd be half a century old, you know, but I am, you know. So, but the same thing is I don't want to quit living either, you know. So I don't want to just be a grandpa that just stays at home and watches TV because he's tired from work and all that stuff, you know. I want to go to work, support my family, and then get out, enjoy the rest of the life I have, you know. So that's why I started getting into e-biking. to try to give me a more healthier lifestyle, get me out of the house and all that stuff. And it really, it's done that for sure, you know. Excuse me. And so my other e-bikes are for that kind of stuff, you know. And then this e-bike is for me more to vlog on and you know, go have friends with my go have good times with my buddies and stuff like that, and do some night rides and some day rides and around the town, and with, you know, Surons and, you know, different type of e-bikes that people have built that go real fast. And, you know, it's a really cool community, man, because, you know, people really, you know, they don't judge you or anything like that. You know, I guess they're happy that, you know, they got people to ride with and they're out there riding, and so that's cool. You know, it's a really cool community, and I dig it, you know. So that's why I got this bike. And the cool thing about this bike is I lent this bike to a couple of Suron riders, you know, and they hadn't rode one of these type of bomber type bikes and man, they were impressed. They were like, holy moly, that thing's fast and quick and all that stuff, you know. It's so quick, you know. And the stock Suron is nowhere near what this bike is, man. This bike stock is crazy, you know, without doing any upgrades to it yet. And, you know, the Suron, I don't know, I think it's like 45 miles or something like that stock. And man, this one's so much quicker. And then by the time they do all the upgrades and stuff, when they finally get it up to 72 volts and the bigger battery, I think the Gladiator battery is like, I don't know, but I think it's more like, I don't know for sure, but I know they increased the amp hour on it, so now it can go a lot further, you know, where I think with the stock motor or the stock battery on the Suron, it was like, depending how you ride, maybe 30 miles range or something like that. And now that they got all the Qi batteries and all that stuff, man, they can go a lot further. And I think now they're starting to get the 60 miles pretty easy. And then I saw a video where some dude put the Gladiator battery and he set it so that it only goes like 22 miles an hour or something like that. And he was able to get 110 miles or something on that battery, which is pretty cool. But in reality, when you got a Suron or you got a bike like this, when are you going to go 20 miles an hour for that extended a long time? You know, it took them like, I think 5 or 6 hours, and it took them that long. I wouldn't be able to sit on my bike, you know, 6 hours straight without taking breaks or anything like that, you know what I mean? And but yeah, so I'm curious to see what it does when, you know, normal riding where people are hitting 20 miles an hour and, you know, they pop a wheelie or, you know, they gun it like that, you know, and just tear ass, you know. That you know, all that kind of stuff wears down your battery. So, but all in all, I know this bike, I could probably get this bike, I don't know, I think I can easily get 60 miles on it and still be pretty cool, you know. I'm pretty sure. Oh man. And I'm pretty sure. But I'm getting ready to do a range test on it. I'm not going to do it today because I got things to do after this. But I'll report back, and I'll probably show like the video of it, you know, not the whole thing, but like parts and pieces of where I go and all that stuff. I'd really like to drive from my house all the way to downtown Dallas on it and then see if I can make it back, which I think it probably could if I be pretty calm. But it's hard, man, to be calm. Like right now, it's doing everything I can not to hit the gas or the throttle. But it's just such a nice day, man. It's windy, but and a nice day because it's warm outside, you know. Pretty soon it's gonna get real cold again, and you're not gonna want to go outside or anything like that. You're gonna want to stay inside and squeeze mama. How you doing, sir? But it's cool, man. I really dig this bike, man. It's so awesome, dude. It's such fun. And like I said, it's like my, you know, people probably kind of look at me funny when I'm riding my bike and talking to myself, you know. But it's kind of like my counselor, you know what I mean? I ride my bike and I turn on the camera and kind of talk to myself, and maybe it'll entertain some people while I'm talking. Maybe it won't, but hopefully it does. A couple people anyway. But it's like my own counselor, you know. Some people pay, I don't know, $100 a session or hundreds of dollars a session just to go talk to somebody, and for somebody to say yes, yes. Oh, that's interesting. Yes. Well, have you tried that? And I'm like, well, yeah, I tried that. That's why I'm here, man. What are you talking about? You know? But it's crazy, man. And like this bike, man, it eats potholes up, man. This thing's crazy awesome, dude. Like I said, you could get on the streets and just drive, man. Keep up. Like, easy money, man, easy money. And it's got regen on it, so you can hit the regen. This bike's just so cool, man. Like, it's really cool. And the cool thing about, I don't know if it's a cool thing or not, but it's crazy because when you're driving around, everybody looks at you and they're like, what the hell? Look how fast he's going, or what the hell kind of thing is that? It's got pedals. And then you stop, say if you stop at the store and you try to, you know, get something to drink or something like that, you know, walking into the store, you know, everybody's asking you, hey, what kind of bike is that? How much, you know, how much does it cost? How far does it go? All that kind of stuff. So it's always a conversation piece for sure. Because I don't think a lot of these bikes are out there. I mean, I know they're pretty popular in some places, and I know there's a lot of discrepancies on these bikes, like, you know, getting the do-it-yourself type of bikes from China, and, you know, you can see those packages that are like $1,900, $1,500 or whatever, and then you hear the horror stories of when the people get the packages, you know, pieces don't fit, you have to re-engineer pieces, and then you get inferior stuff, like, you know, the hub motors, it's not a QS, it's something else, and it's not really that good of a motor, and it's not rated like what they said it was, and they put it on, and then like a couple weeks later, if not hours later, the thing burns out on them, you know. And that's why I think it's a really good deal, man, if you can find a place like where I got this one. And like I said, this guy's awesome, man. He warranties this bike and everything, man. He warranties his bike for everything, dude. Like, so like if you have an issue with the battery or something like that, he'll honor the warranty for the battery for a year, which is pretty cool, you know. It's like a whole year for the battery and a whole year for like the motor. So if any of the problems with you have any problems with the motor, he warranties it. You know, as long as you're not, you know, doing stupid stuff with the motor, like, you know, come on, man, you know, going underwater with it and submerging it underwater and stuff like that. You know, I don't know if this motor can handle that or anything, but, you know, going through mud and stuff like that, it shouldn't be an issue at all. But, you know, he's just such a cool guy. And the reason why I pulled over is I looked at this playground, and I'm always looking for playgrounds for my grandson. But this is an apartment complex, so it's a fitness area. So I guess you got to be a member here. But yeah, I'd be like a little careful with those do-it-yourself kits, man. unless you can find one that's like a reputable, that you can find some information on and all that stuff to make sure that you're getting the good parts, you know. And then maybe if you want to put it together for yourself, or, you know, unless you want to spend, you know, $10,000-$12,000 and get you the Stealth Bomber. And then I think they give you a warranty on that bike too. I'm not sure what the warranty is on it, but 10 grand, 11 grand to start off, man, that's a lot of money, man, for basically the same bike as this, really. The only difference is, you know, they got the fancy controller that sits down in the thing down there, you know what I mean? But otherwise it's actually the same bike, you know. So if you bought this for like $3,500 and say for some reason you didn't like the brakes or the rotors or anything like that, you know, you can change those out, you know, and still be cheap as hell, man, you know, under $4,000, and still have a badass bike. And, you know, the cool thing about these bikes is you can customize them to do whatever you want, like to look whatever you want. If you want them to look like, I don't know, look like a different type of bike, you can do that pretty easy, you know. Where with this one, it's like, and then the Surons, if you could do the same thing with the Surons, but man, everything's so much expensive there. It's like crazy expensive. And but you could do it. And there's so many aftermarket parts for that thing too, man. Like you can make that bike your own too. So that, you know, I'm not a Suron hater by any means. Like, I think they're really cool and they're badass for what they are, you know. It's just, unfortunately for me, it doesn't support my weight, or else, you know, like I said in the beginning of this video, I was looking to get one. But I'm really glad I found this, man, and I don't know, man, it's just so cool. I love it, man. Like, I love it. I really do. It's an awesome bike, man. So fun. It's so fun, so fun. Yeah, but if you guys want to find out anything about this bike, you know, like how to contact the guy I got it from and all that stuff, man, just hit me up on YouTube. Send me a message or something like that, and I'll hook you up, man. I'm telling you, man, that guy his name is Ben, and he's an awesome dude, man. He's just amazing, man. Like, it's crazy. You know, he friended me on Facebook and all that stuff, and, you know, so he just wants to be a buddy, you know. And I told him about some rides, and he really wants to go on a ride with us, you know, just to have fun on his bike too, because I guess he, you know, how you doing? I guess a lot of people that he hangs out with don't really ride these type of bikes or whatever, so I think they're more mountain bike people, so they like ride the mountain bikes, regular mountain bikes. But it's just fun, man. And then, you know, if you get one of these and you start looking around Facebook, or, you know, just things that's in your area, you can find some Facebook groups in your area that, you know, ride these type of things, like the Teleria Sting. That's a real bike that a lot of people are into too now. And then you got like the Surons, and you got these, and then you got like the Super 73s and all that kind of stuff that's kind of made just to cruise around, you know what I mean? Not really, except those aren't really made for like off-roading and stuff like that. And, you know, this bike right here, if you wanted to set it up for off-roading, you could, you know. You'd have to get some different bikes, and you'd have to definitely get used to this bike, right? Because it wouldn't handle like a Suron or a dirt bike or anything like that, because there's a lot of weight on the back motor, right? Because the motor is really, really heavy. So throwing the back tire around, like that kind of stuff, you would have to get used to, just like with anything else, before you could start like actually really getting used to how it handles when you jump it or anything like that, you know. So but it's capable of it, you know what I mean, for sure. It can It's just a little heavier, but it's a cool ass bike, man. It's so badass, and it's really comfortable, man. And like, you know, you could, right now I got the bike seat on it, so it looks like more of a bike, but they do have an option where you can put like a moto seat, like the Sur-Ron seat type of thing, or dirt bike type of seat. And I put it on mine, you know, the other day, and I took it for a ride. It does make the bike sit a lot lower, man. So like the bike is lower, and for me, I didn't like it as much. I liked it the way mine's set up right now, because it's a little taller, and when it was lower down, it made it almost impossible to, like, if you wanted to pedal it, you wouldn't be able to pedal that bike, like, at least not for long extended periods of time, for sure, unless, you know, I guess maybe if you're a shorter person than I am, like, I'm 6 foot, so I guess if you're shorter than me, that seat would probably be awesome for you. Plus, you know, also one thing to mention on this seat, even with the bike seat, you know, if you're shorter than, like, I don't know, maybe 5'11", 5'10", you would have to like hop on this bike, you know what I'm saying? And then the suspension will bring you down, and then you could put your feet on the bike, you know. But if you're taller, you know, this seat's gonna be a lot better than the moto seat. But if you are shorter, then that moto seat might be the seat that you want, you know what I mean? It's a preference thing, because everybody has preferences on things. But well, yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy what you can do with these bikes, man. Damn, there's a nice house up there on that hill. I want to go check that out. I like that house, man. But it's cool, man. This bike is so cool. It's so cool that you can go as fast as you want to go, and go as slow as you want to go. You know what I mean? You don't always have to be in a rush. But if you're in a rush, that's cool too. Damn, that's a cool place to do a video right there. Look at that. I might try doing one right there, man. That's badass. Wow. But yeah, I just wanted to look at this house, man. It's pretty cool. The guy's doing surveying. What's up, man? Check out this house, man. Wow. It's pretty badass up on the hill, man. Look at that. Damn, I bet you that house is cool in Christmas. Yeah, it's a nice area right here. Man, look at that house. I just had to look at that house. I gotta bring my wife out here to check that house out, man. Maybe one day. Man, it would be cool to live right here in this spot, because look, if you got your own little cul-de-sac up here on the hill, and you're on the hill, so if it rains like a mother, all the rain, all the water gets off of your property. But then it does do some erosion, so I bet you there's some erosion control you got to do on a house like that too, because if you don't, you're gonna have problems, man. Yeah, pretty cool, man. And it's just a basic house, but it looks so badass on the hill. Badass, man. Pretty cool up here. I kind of want to look on that. See if I can go through the alley. See if I can see how the house looks on the alley side, man. Sometimes it's cool just to cruise around and dream. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see something cool and you're like, man, it would have been cool to have a house like that, or something like that, you know? I think I need to adjust my rotor, because it started making noise, man. But yeah, look at this, man. This thing can go up hills. Look at this shit. Go up hills like nobody's business, man. It's so crazy. Like, that's a hill that any e-bike would have a hard time getting up, for sure. Look at that. This one is like, give me more, man. Give me more. think you go through here. I hope so. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Wow, look at that, man. Another badass house on the hill. Or is that the house? No, that's not the house. I think it's over here. Somewhere. Oh, there's that spot. Damn, that's a cool house, man. That's another cool house up there on the hill. Wow. Pretty awesome, man. Pretty chingon. Pretty chingon, man. I don't see that other house. I went back side, so I gotta go find the other side. Where'd the other side be? Maybe if I go back and go up some more. I didn't go far enough that way. Man, that's a badass house though. Look at this one. Man. I wonder if I can go up this way. Does the alleys go up that way? Yeah, the alleys go up this way. You know, sometimes you cruise around the alleys and people throw away some cool shit. And you're like, damn, people throw that away? That's trash to you? Wow. You know, you get some cool stuff. Usually though, if I do find something like that, I'll like go knock on the house and say, hey man, I noticed you're throwing this away. Is it cool if I take it? So I don't get the cops calling on me or something. Plus, I think that's just a cool thing to do. Wow, man, this is cool. I think this is the house. Yeah, that's the house right there. Pretty cool, man. That would be a nice house to have. And it looks like he has a Supra or something cool over there, right there. Got him a badass house. Look at this, got a nice little garage thing on the back side. That's what I need, man. So I can store all my bikes and stuff and not have them in my garage. Damn, look at this hill. Damn, this would be a cool hill to practice swimming. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Doing good, man. But yeah, I should do a speed test going up this thing and show you how this bike goes, man. This thing, there'd be no problem for this bike. No problem, bro. No problem. Well, anyway, man, I think that's gonna be it for this video. I just wanted to give you guys a first-hand experience and show you what this bike can do, and you know, just how comfortable and quiet it is, and a little bit about it. But I'm gonna do some other videos where I'll do a speed test on it, and then I'll do the range test on it, and then go from there, man. But anyway, I hope you like this video, and if you like it, please subscribe. You know, be kind, love one another, stay safe, and stay healthy. Peace out. Love you guys.